Hello everyone, I'm Father Enrique Salvo, Rector of St. Patrick's Cathedral, and today we will be discussing Discernment of Spirits. The discernment of spirits is something that God brought to us through St. Ignatius of Loyola in the 16th century. And since then, it has been one of the most powerful tools in our spiritual life to discern what spirit is speaking to us. In today's reflection, of course, it's just a few minutes, so I'm just going to introduce this. But there is so much there to learn, and it's something that we must all be aware of because it's something that it just makes our spiritual life so much richer when we discern with the spirits and put it into practice. So the basis of the discernment of spirits is the fact that always we are going to have God's Spirit, the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of God's love trying to guide us to live our life in a way that is according to His will. And then we're going to have the evil spirit, which as St. Ignatius of Loyola describes as the enemy, the spirit of the fallen world and the lies that the fallen world tries to give us, and also our wounded sense of self, that wounds that sometimes make us act and react in ways that are not according to God's will. The evil spirit is going to try to communicate to us as well. And therefore, we have to discern which one is trying to get us to act and live according to a certain way. That is the first and the premise of everything, that yes, there is God's Spirit trying to guide us and their evil spirit trying to derail us. But then this is done through what St. Ignatius calls consolations or desolation. Notice that there's a root within that word, which is sol, which means the sun, which basically is light. So consolation is that we feel light in our conscience, in our interior. Desolation is that we feel darkness. So when we're trying to live a good life, the good spirit is always going to give us consolations, not only to help us to keep on going, but even more to inspire us to even grow more in holiness, that we can always even do more, that we're basically invited to another level of being His disciples. And so He will console us, which may take place in being filled with that peace that surpasses all understanding, to have joy in serving. Sometimes it can even be perhaps somewhat physical manifestations. Like for example, we can receive a burning sensation in our heart. Some people receive tears of joy. We're all different. So God speaks our language depending on who we are, our personality, and so on. But He knows how to give us a pat in the back to encourage us to keep on going. And it's a reminder that, yes, keep on doing this, keep on living this way, and you will see many good fruit. Obviously, though, when that is happening, the evil spirit is furious. And so the opposite will be the case. The evil spirit will try to derail us through desolations. And so it's when we, for example, are filled with unnecessary anxieties and fears and worries, when we have spiritual laziness, when we get distracted and can't focus on doing good, when we start like thinking negative thoughts. There's a lot of that has to do with our mind and the way we think in the discernment of spirits. And therefore, through the lies of the evil one, we are trying to be derailed from keeping on doing what we're doing that is according to God's will. Now, that is the case if we're living a good life. It's the opposite when we are living a life of sin, a life of darkness, a life of negativity, a life that is not according to God's will. So if that is the case, then it's the evil spirit that will try to give us consolation, because it's not real consolation. It's just a disguise in which he tries to fool us. Yes, acquire this, fall into that pleasure, do this and fall into this temptation, and you'll be happy, you'll have fun, you'll be joyful, you'll have everything that the world tells you need to be happy. Watch, it's going to happen. So you need more, and you need more, and you need more of this and more of that. And so when we come into this, when we are attracted to this sin and we're about to do it, we are basically being encouraged by the evil spirit through temptation to fall into the trap. And of course, no one would do anything if we didn't think it's going to make us unhappy. But at that moment, we are lied to. And if we fall into the trap, we think that happiness is there, although it's only a lie and an illusion. And of course, the good spirit, the Spirit of God, will give us the opposite, which is, in a way, it's not going to feel good. It's in a way a desolation, but a very important one that we have to be grateful for, which is when he, for example, stings our conscience, when he, for example, sends situations or people that will help to call us out. Like, if you keep on going, you'll be in more trouble than you are right now. If you keep on living your life this way, this is not going to end well. And even if we're sensitive, even when we're falling into sin, the good spirit is going to try to make us aware at that moment that to watch out, to not go there, to change our ways immediately if we are. But St. Ignatius is extremely practical, and therefore the rest of the rules are very practical in the way that we discern spirits in our daily life. Because it's not just in big moments, and it's not just like, say, we're embarking a new conversion story, a new phase in our spiritual life. It's not just in those moments. It's constant. It's in a way something that's in our daily life, in the way it looks in our daily life, that the spirits are trying to communicate with us what to do well or what to do wrong. So, for example, when we receive consolations in our life, we are to hold on to them with gratitude, because we will have times of desolation, and those are times in which we might be tempted to quit, and the consolations are there to remind us that we'll get through. We've gotten through worse things in the past, and we'll keep on getting through them now with God's grace. And also, for example, St. Ignatius tells us something practical. If you're going through a desolation, if right now you're angry, if you're filled with fear, even if we're, as they call, hangry, as they say, when we're hungry and mad, because the evil one will use anything to never make or do or say any decision, whether it's big or even small, under that frame of mind, because it will never be the right one. Because we're doing it out of a place of darkness and not out of a place of love and peace. And therefore, we have to wait till the Holy Spirit helps us to regain our peace before we make a bad decision. That is, of course, when we are trying to live a good life. And so there's many things there that St. Ignatius reminds us, and much has to do with our thoughts. And so he reminds us, you have to be very aware of what you're thinking at this moment. So again, this was just a very short and perfect summary of this very powerful tool that the Church gives us through the writings of St. Ignatius of Loyola. But it's a reminder that we have it at our disposal. It's a reminder that we should all learn about the discernment of spirits and all the wisdom of St. Ignatius. We should read the rules and try to apply them. And of course, now they've been translated to modern English and commentaries. There's also great literature and other media on this topic. For example, Father Gallagher has written extensively about the discernment of spirits and other similar topics that St. Ignatius teaches. And there's so much good that we can get from this, because in the end, we have and want to always only listen to the Spirit of God. That is always, He's always going to help us to walk as children of the light, according to His will, in this life and for all of eternity. God bless you. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. We hope that you're enjoying not only today's episode, but this whole journey, this spiritual journey that we're producing here at St. Patrick's Cathedral. Please know that we are very grateful for you to tune in. We ask you always to subscribe, to leave us comments. We really care about what you have to say, any suggestions that you may have, even new ideas for future topics. We're so interested and always love hearing from you. And please share with all of your loved ones. God bless you.